Hi, I'm Erin Lucy, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna be doing a little fall book haul. Did not expect to do another book haul so soon, but I ended up with a little stack. So here we go. Actually, the first one I'm gonna talk about has not come yet. I was kind of waiting for it, and it was supposed to come like yesterday or the day before, and there's still like no tracking information on it, so I'm kind of sad because it was like the most fall-esque. It was The Garlic and the Vampire. I'll put a little picture, but it's just such a cute like graphic novel. I heard it's really super fun for fall, super like kind of over the garden wall vibes, so very excited for that to come, but it has not yet. So on to my others. They're not necessarily all like fall themed, but books that I plan to read soon. The first is Little Eyes by Samantha Schweblin, and she is an Argentinian author. It was translated from Spanish, and I've gotten much more into translated work, so I'm excited to read this. I'm just gonna read the back because this one is kind of like wild and hard to give a description of. So they've infiltrated homes in Hong Kong, shops in Vancouver, the streets of Sierra Leone. They're everywhere. But how can a person living in Berlin walk freely through the living room of someone in Sydney? How can someone in Bangkok have breakfast with your children in Buenos Aires without your knowing? The characters in Samantha Schweblin's Little Eyes reveal the beauty of connection between far-flung souls while exposing the ugly side of our increasingly linked world. In this prophecy of a story, Schweblin creates a dark and complex world that's all the more harrowing for being so recognizable and familiar. Sounds amazing. I'm all about it. The next is Lapvona by Ottessa Moshfegh, which I've actually finished a couple of days ago. So I've already read this one. It's her new book from the summer. I was very on the fence about whether I was going to read this because I heard very mixed reviews, and I really did not like My Year of Rest and Relaxation, but I was too intrigued, so I read this one. It is bizarre, incredibly wild, hard to even necessarily recommend, but I'll just give a quick synopsis. It is about this kind of like medieval village, and there's some like magical realism kind of, but it takes place in this medieval village, and it kind of follows the lives of a couple of the villagers throughout the course of a year. So it's broken into like spring, summer, fall, and winter. And you follow their absolutely tragic lives as they are living in this village. It's kind of overlorded by this like governor, I forget what he's called, but like up on this hill, and the tragedies that they go through. It is very sad and tragic, and a lot about like kind of the evil in humans and about the darker side of what it means to be human and human relationships and kind of like families rejecting each other and stuff like that. So sad and really hard to read, but overall I thought it was really well done, well written, and a good book. So Lapvona. Then we have The Priory of the Orange Tree, which been recommended this book for years. It's freaking huge, but I finally just bit the bullet. I've been like debating this for a long time, and I think just recently I've gotten kind of frustrated with like female characters that act super arrogant and entitled in the like YA fantasy space. I don't think this is considered YA, but I wanted a fantasy with like a really good female main character, and I've heard great things about this one. It is just like a huge fantasy saga, lots of interesting characters, dragons, a queen, all sorts of adventure. So psyched to read it. I'm not sure when on this one, so I picked it up recently, but it's not on my like foreseeable TBR, but I definitely want to get to it soon. Okay, then we have A Psalm for the Wild Built and A Prayer for the Crown Shy, the first two of A Monk and Robot books by Becky Chambers, whom I love. And I've already read the first one, and I'm in the middle of the second one, and new favorites, absolutely 100%. I love them. A Song for the Wild built. It's this kind of like far future sci-fi, takes place on like a moon, like completely off of Earth, but it has a lot of themes for things that we're struggling with today, particularly our relationship with the natural world. And essentially, the main character, Dex, is a monk, and they decide they want to be a tea monk, I guess. Just right in the beginning, they make the switch to being a tea monk with traveling around to all these different villages and bringing tea to people who need it for different reasons and who are struggling with different things. So they go on this kind of adventure doing that, and in doing so, they meet this robot, and robots essentially like went into the wild 200 years prior, and stopped working for the humans, and they wanted to discover nature and the wild on their own. But they also live in this world where the humans have separated where they live and where nature is, where the wild is, so that the wild can thrive and humans don't have such a big impact. But absolutely fascinating. Loved every single second of it. And I'm also loving the second one. So great book. So the next two are Book of the Month picks from the past 2 months. The first one was from August, and that was Daisy Darker is one I chose. And partially because it was like thrillery mystery, and I was kind of looking for that in the next, this fall. And essentially it is about this family. Daisy Darker is, I think, one of the members of the family who goes back to this island where their family has this like gothic mansion, very fall Halloween-y vibes. And they go for the grandmother's 80th birthday, and she is murdered, I believe. And it's kind of like a whodunit type situation in this cool setting. So that should be fun. And then Killers of a Certain Age was just this past month. Again, just like feeling those fall vibes. I know very little about this one as well. Essentially that these 4 older women, I think they're in their 60s. They spent their lives as assassins working for some like organization, and they're gonna retire. They go on this like retirement trip and find out, I think, that someone's trying to kill them. So it's about that, them dealing with that and being badasses. So I think that'll also be a fun one for the fall. I have 2 more. One is not mine. My friend lent me this book, and I thought I would include it. She just like randomly handed it to me and was like, you should read this. So I have absolutely no idea what it's about. It's called Ledge. And so I'm just gonna read the description. The heart-stopping beginning to the Glacian trilogy. In a place known as the Ledge, a civilization is trapped by a vast chasm and sheer mountain face. Rations are small, living is tough, and there is no way to escape without befalling a deathly drop. What's more, every season, the people must present themselves as human sacrifice to the Glacians, mysterious winged creatures who reside beyond the Ledge. Dawson, axe welder and only remaining member of her family, has so far avoided the annual culling, but her luck has run out. She is ripped from her icy home with no idea what will happen on the other side. Enslaved? Murdered? Worse? Fortunately, a half-Glacian called Rayon offers to help them both escape, but how can she trust one of the very creatures that plagued her life? Dawson is a survivor, and she is not afraid to cut anyone down to live. So my friend said kind of Akatari vibes. So yes, Ledge. Hope to get to that one actually in the next couple of weeks. And then I have one more in my piles. A nonfiction, Silent Earth, Averting the Insect Apocalypse. And it's about insects and kind of humans and insects, our interaction, but also their extinction, and kind of bringing to light a more appreciative side to the insect world. It is written by an entomologist who study insects and conservationist. So I heard about it, I believe, on Allison Page's channel, and I'm very excited to read it. So that is the last one. And that's pretty much it for today. I would love to hear what you have bought recently or are just really looking forward to reading this fall. I'm so feeling the fall reading vibes. It was super rainy and cloudy and thunderstormy today, so I felt that and was psyched. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.